Prepare yourself for the terror. The prison of madness, where few enter and none return.
Welcome to Unsung Horrors. With Lance. And Erica.
Leave all your sanity behind. It can't help you now.
Welcome to another episode of Unsung Horrors, the podcast where we discuss underseen horror films, specifically those which have fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. I'm Erica.
And I'm Lance.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know who this person is sitting next to me. I don't think I've met you before.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Oh, damn it.
Sorry.
I did not miss that.
Well, I missed you very much.
I missed you very much as well. It's been a rough 6 months.
Yeah.
Still recovering, but just really needed to come back and do what I love, talk to my friend about underseen horror movies, listen to his terrible puns, listen to his dulcet voice of when he sings.
I can't think of a tune. I'm just getting emotional here. Got nothing to sing. Yeah, no, it's a necessary break, a good hiatus. I think it's helped in a lot of aspects, but I'm very happy to be back. I've missed you. I missed all this. Missed the listeners.
Yes.
I mean, some of the comments, the positive comments when we announced we were coming back was very, very sweet, very touching. And I'm not going to lie, whenever we record, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking of the Discord channel and everybody who's active in there. So really appreciate everybody that, has stuck with us.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience, and just want to encourage anybody who is having a rough time that it's okay to take a break.
Yes.
Whatever you
Absolutely.
love is still going to be there when you're ready. I'm not ready, actually.
Yeah. Just know if you take a break, you're going to come back and feel rusty. Like, I feel like these are going to be, the next 2 episodes will be like dress rehearsals for us.
If you've heard our first couple episodes, it's going to be like that. So sorry in advance. I will do my best in the editing room.
Oh yeah. Good luck with this episode. Like, I'm sorry for all the mistakes I'll be making that you have to cut out.
That's all right. We'll figure it out. Just don't move around too much because that chair's squeaky.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to come back with what I think is an absolute banger. And not just the movie itself. I also wanted something very short, which this is. It's under an hour.
Yeah, 50 minutes. I love it.
But there's a lot to talk about with the person who made this film. And I think that, especially with the environment that we're in and talking about censorship, I think it's a very sort of timely movie to talk about. So I'm very excited to talk about Blood Brothers from 1989. This is available right now to watch on Archive and currently has 344 views on Letterboxd. So I am not going to give a film summary on this because A, there really isn't a narrative to follow here, and B, I think you just have to know who Mike Diana is for this. So for reference, the Letterboxd synopsis says, quote, in 1986, as a teen, Mike Diana bought a video camera and using his younger brother and sister as actors made a gore film inspired by the horror videos he was a fan of, unquote. So if someone came across that and didn't know who Diana is, they would probably be confused. Like just the way that the Letterboxd synopsis is presented. Yeah. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about who Mike Diana is to give context for the Letterboxd synopsis itself. And then we'll talk about the movie itself. But I mentioned this film is available to watch on Archive. It is lumped together with one of his other movies, and that's Baked Baby Jesus, which, Lance, I saw you watch that on Easter.
I did, and I recommend any type of holy religious day to pop this on. It was such a blast. I loved that movie so much. I love Blood Brothers, which we'll get into, but
yeah,
Baked Baby Jesus is over 2 hours long.
Yes.
It's like a compilation of a lot of his previous films, kind of like what he did in Blood Brothers that we'll talk about, but it's it has a narrative, and I think you can interpret it. A lot of people have different interpretations, but I think it does have a clear narrative, and I loved it so much, especially on the holy day of Easter.
I do love the actual title of Baked Baby Jesus. It is not lying. There is an actual baked baby Jesus in this movie.
They prep it. It's the Last Supper. Well, it's Baked Baby Jesus, the second coming.
That's right. CUMM.
Yeah. And I love the credits that he does in the movies. He spray paints them on the wall. It's just original stuff, from the early 90s. But yeah, there's literally a Baked Baby Jesus. I think it's the same doll that's in Blood Brothers too.
Yes.
In the beginning.
Yeah. He's also he's not listed as director on Letterboxd, but the credits on Affliction from 1996 list him and Mark Hejnar as co-compilers. So if you actually watch it, you'll see his name and Mark at the end as co-compilers. That one I watched on Noodle, and it's on there and nowhere else for a reason. Hardcore sex, nudity, all the things are on there. So watch it if you want. I encourage, we're sex positive here, so I would encourage folks to check that out. Make sure you have an ad blocker, though.
Yes, yeah, it's always fun to watch stuff on Noodle. I'm just like, okay, and in the background, there's like, just like stuff pops up.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, okay, that's all right. Yeah, get the ad blocker for Noodle. I mean, you should have one anyway. Yeah. But
sometimes I just shut it off though, because it's an experience with the ads popping up.
Okay,
no, not really.
To each his own. Okay, so. Again, before we get into Blood Brothers itself, I think a good introduction to Diana for anyone who is unfamiliar with him, or maybe you are familiar with him and you just haven't seen this before. Frank Henenlotter's 2018 documentary called Boiled Angels, The Trial of Mike Diana. It gave me a lot of context about the trial itself. Like, I had heard about it years ago, and I want to say I either heard about it through Henry Rollins or Jello Biafra spoken word, like just mentioned in passing. And I remembered like, oh wow, like a comic book artist actually got convicted of obscenity. Which
charged and convicted. It was like completely never done before. I mean, it's just kind of mind-blowing. But I do have to point out that Jello Biafra does narrate the film, which is a genius move.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I will listen to Jello Biafra like anything. I love him. But yeah, so good tie-in there. So it probably was Jello then that I first heard about it. Now that makes sense. So I think also for readers, another great resource besides, the documentary, besides Diana's work itself, are two interviews on Diabolique's site by our friend of the show, Klon Waldrip. I will link those in show notes along with Mike Diana's website so that people can read more from him directly. Great interviews from Klon. Everyone should check those out if you haven't already. I know he linked them in our Discord as well, so some folks might have checked those out. I mentioned already, so the very short version of, Mike Diana's biography is that he is the first and only artist to be convicted, not just arrested or charged, but convicted of obscenity for the comics that he wrote and drew, specifically 2 issues of Boiled Angels, issues 7 and 8. So hence the title of Henenlotter's documentary. Now, he did not go to prison. I think he went for just like a few days during the trial or right after the trial, but he got 3 years probation. And he was not allowed to draw anything in his own home that might be considered obscene, even for private use. This all came after he was suspected of being the Gainesville Ripper a few years earlier.
Yes, yeah. And he was forced to do a psychiatric evaluation. Mm-hmm. He had to pay out of pocket. But yeah, the completely like unprecedented stuff was you as an artist are not allowed to draw for 3 years, which is just unheard of.
Yeah.
I did some research to see if, anything like that has ever been, just passed down for judgment in a trial. And, there's other performance artists that have been charged for obscenity, like Lenny Bruce and Larry Flint. George Carlin was arrested, I think he was arrested, but none of them were charged or none of them were convicted.
Yeah.
But Lenny Bruce in 1961, he was arrested for obscenity when he used the word cocksucker in a stand-up. Mm-hmm. And he also used the schmuck, which is a Yiddish word that means penis, apparently. So he was arrested, and it's similar to what the judge did with Diana. He was told that he can't say anything obscene during his shows. And Bruce is like, well, what do you consider to be obscenity? And he said, just any inappropriate words, nothing inappropriate.
Okay. That's very, thank you for the clear direction.
Exactly. So he would, basically his stand-up became talking about the trial, but every stand-up he did after that, cops from the city or wherever he was performing would have to post up in the back of the audience and stuff. So, it's crazy how you tell somebody you can never draw again, especially when you're that young. And
I know, yeah. Okay, so Diana, we mentioned, was convicted. Now, I think what's significant is that it was in a small court system in Florida. So I don't think anything like this would have happened in California or New York. I think it was because it was in this small town, Florida, where all of this was discovered and the charges were brought against him. I don't want to get too deep into the documentary because I think everyone should watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's getting a Blu-ray release soon. But I do want to kind of talk about, well, how does someone get convicted of obscenity? And so the basis for Diana's conviction was the Miller test. And this was the legal standard for obscenity in the U.S. established by the Supreme Court in 1973. Now, it's a 3-pronged test used to determine whether something is legally obscene and therefore not protected by the First Amendment. Now, the content in question must meet all 3 of the following, not just 1 or 2 of these. So there's prurient interest, which means whether the average person applying contemporary community standards, and that word community is key, would find the work taken as a whole appeals to the prurient interest. So translation, would a normal person in that community think that the material is meant to turn you on sexually in a gross or exploitative way? Mm. So again, that community standards is the key point there for him getting convicted, because what is considered obscene in Largo, Florida is not going to be considered obscene in Manhattan or, Venice Beach, California.
Right.
The second prong is patently offensive, whether the work depicts or describes in a patently offensive way sexual conduct specifically defined by the applicable state law. Again, vague. Translation, does the material clearly cross a line in how it shows sex, nudity, or other stuff spelled out in the state's obscenity laws? It can't just be racy. It has to be blatantly offensive by legal definition. And even then, we're still getting into really vague, gray areas.
It's subjective.
Everything's subjective here. And then the third prong was that it lacks serious value. Whether the work taken as a whole lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. Translation, is there any redeeming value? If it has serious artistic or political meaning, even to one expert, it's likely protected. Now, this part is judged by national standards, not local ones. So, according to the Largo, Florida court system, Mike Diana's work hit all of those 3 prongs, and so he was convicted. Now we're talking about Boiled Angels. Lance, I see you've got some stuff over there.
Yeah, I ordered his. Everybody should go to Mike Diana's website. It's Mike Diana Comics, with comics spelled COMIX.com.
Link in bio, or link in show notes.
Link in show notes, yeah, 100%. And I picked up, he has a Boiled Angel Lives box set, which he screen prints a beautiful image on the box itself, signs and numbers it. All 8 issues of Boiled Angel are in here. I'm going to do a show and tell, but the show is only for Erica. Sorry, guys. I did post pictures of this on Instagram if anybody wants to see it, but we could post it too. He did a little nice little drawing on a thank you note, which is only for me. I didn't put that on Instagram. A couple stickers, but all 8 of the issues he did from, I believe, 1989 to 91, I think. He basically he doesn't do a lot of films anymore, or any, because doing comics is pretty much a one-person job. You don't have to get a group of friends to be involved. It's obviously a lot more time and work, where I think I read in an interview he could just sit down and do comics all day. And he sees the actual outcome immediately. But yeah, all these boiled angels. I kind of went through. I don't know. I kind of almost killed myself in this. Like I read issue 1 when I got the box immediately, and looked through all of them. But then I read back to back issues 2 through 6.
Uh-huh.
And I have to say, I hope nobody from the government's listening, because I went on a killing spree. I wanted to kill children immediately after reading these. No, I joke. But like all the contributors that he gets involved in each of these issues, his art, even in issue 1 here, he calls out Blood Brothers, which I know you didn't give a summary, but he gives his own summary in this issue.
Please do.
So let me read this. So the first issue is really good because his editorial is quite long compared to the other issues, because it's the introduction to this new zine he was creating. But he says, okay, I just finished 2 short films I've been working on. Blood Brothers and Sleazy Love. I did them on almost a $0 budget, so they do have their faults. They drag in parts, but it beats watching the boring 6 o'clock news. If you're interested in owning a copy, and send $5 to me, and the tape will be on its way. Let me give you an idea of what the films are about. Blood Brothers is about 2 14-year-old punks that go around murdering average citizens, snorting nose candy, giving free abortions, and one even turns into Jesus Christ. And then Sleazy Love's about a 14-year-old kid that likes to spit in his pet dog's mouth and eat trick cereal in the name of God. All these scenes are in Baked Baby Jesus. Yeah. They end up being in that movie, which I already said I love. It's 2 hours of greatness. Then he meets a dead girl and falls in love with her, and they go to the park and eat Hostess fruit pies and pet gators and live happily ever after, until the young boy finds that she is a he. But he said the 2 films are recorded on 1 tape. It's about 1 hour and 30 minutes, available on VHS only. Send $5 today too. So yeah, there's his summary of Blood Brothers, which I feel is accurate. Mm-hmm. One turns into Jesus Christ, which we're going to talk about. But look at these. Like, this is just the best.
Yeah.
Most of issue 1 is Mike Diana. Then he starts getting heavily, and a lot of people start contributing. I want to even say that issues 6, 7, and 8, which really got him into most of the trouble with the trial, most of them were from other contributors. Mm-hmm. But they just focused in on him because his address was the only one that's kind of posted in there.
Okay.
But everybody should look into this. It can be a little pricey, but I think it's 100% worthy and worth it. You can get each issue by itself if you don't want to buy a box set. I've already picked up and ordered a few other things, like more recent comments in his teas. I love this. Boiled Angel lives. Yeah, it's the best one.
I'm gonna invest in there as soon as I get a job.
I can leave these here if you want to read that. If you want to read through them,
I need to give myself a goal to get a job so that I can buy the thing. So
I'm just gonna hang this carrot over here.
Oh yeah, hang the carrot.
Take a look.
Hang the carrot. Erica, get your lazy ass back to work. Oh God. So I think something from Klon's interview with Diana that I thought was fascinating was that Diana said that the undercover officer, when he ordered the Boiled Angels, he said, I had advertised Blood Brothers and Baked Baby Jesus videos in Boiled Angels number 6. It sounds like he's advertising them in all of them. He ordered the videos and he ordered Boiled Angels. Eventually, when I got my lawyer, I saw the paperwork and it said something along the lines of, quote, even though Blood Brothers and Baked Baby Jesus are in bad taste, there's nothing that breaks the obscenity law within the videos, unquote. I always wondered what kind of screening room did they have? Did they watch the whole thing beginning to end?
I have that exact quote pulled from that interview. I love that whole segment, just envisioning these cops that are watching it and how they can differentiate and deem Baked Baby Jesus not offensive. But these comics that I've read through, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because it's printed and can be passed around easily. Like, I don't know what the reasoning is.
Yeah.
Because there's Baked Baby Jesus is...
It's on another level.
Yeah. I mean, a boy wakes up, pisses on a crucifix in the toilet, which is like, it's like a morning ritual. It's like a power move of like, you wake up and brush your teeth. This kid pisses on a crucifix and then he gives birth to baby Jesus. And they eat moon pies and Jesus, like it.
The dog eats out of the baked baby Jesus, like, good girl. But yeah, it's on another level. And I say that because, so when I first watched Blood Brothers, I was like, oh my God, it's just like a cornucopia of dead children all over the place. I was like, this is fantastic. This is amazing. And then getting further into it, learning about Diana, learning more about like Boiled Angels and everything, all the content that's within there, and Baked Baby Jesus, all these things. I was like, you know what? Okay, so side note, here's what I've been doing in all of my time off since I got laid off, is I've A, been looking for a job, B, working on Sweetest Taboo Volume 2.
Yeah, baby.
Now, what I realized when I came across this, and I finally watched it, was there needs to be a Hall of Fame in Sweetest Taboo. And Mike Diana is inducted into the Sweetest Taboo.
Oh, is he the first inductee?
He is the first. There is another,
it's a big deal.
And that's part of my double feature pick. So we will get to that. But yeah, I emailed Mike Diana. I reached out and I said, would you be willing to do an interview for the book? And he agreed. And he is also going to be doing commission art piece for it as well. So I'm giving our listeners like a sneak peek at like what's coming for Volume 2. I'm very excited about it. Now, I did not get his answers back for the interview yet before this, which is fine. You guys can wait for the book.
Yeah, exactly. You have to buy the book.
So I don't have any information directly from him about it, but I think there's a lot of stuff out there already from Klon's interviews, from just having the copies of Boiled Angels. We've got plenty of information about Diana, but really Blood Brothers is just, it's on another level. Diana is on another level. He is so soft-spoken and smart and genuine in everything that I've heard him speak in. And I think that's what puts a lot of people off about his artwork, at least the people who are offended by it, is because they'll hear him speak and they'll think these things don't match up. There must be something wrong with him.
Right.
And one of the things Henenlotter said in Klon's interview about Diana's work was that all of his art is about victimization in some way. And I think that's true. I think there's a lot that people who've been victims can get from his work. And I think that's, aside from, the content itself, I think that's what scares a lot of people, is being confronted with victimization.
Yeah, I agree with that, because he presents himself and his work in such a calm and polite manner. Mm-hmm. And, again, we don't want to spoil. Yeah, everybody should watch this documentary that Henenlotter put out. But some of the people that did confront him, a lot of religious people, they were able to actually contact them afterwards. And some of them were a bit apologetic about how they interpreted him as a person, which was really interesting to see. But going back to Baked Baby Jesus, I feel like Baked Baby Jesus helps establish why Mike Diana might do a lot of his art, because it focuses it on a lot of the protests that happen in the area concerning abortion and how violent pro-life people can be and pro-choice people can be. He records great long segments of the 6 o'clock news, which he points out in Boiled Angels issue 1, where all it is about serial killing and people killing children, and it's in real life, and this is all real life.
Yeah,
and a lot of overdub stuff. Also in Big Baby Jesus, there's like a wonderful random voiceover during one of the scenes that says like, "Watch Uncle Buck. It's the best Thanksgiving." Yeah. it's obviously it's chaos, but he hits on a lot of key points that basically changes how young children they form their ideas and their interpretations on just life and humankind. And I feel like Baked Baby Jesus, like that, to me, that's kind of the narrative, that it's just driving home like what people are putting out, what adults are putting out in the world and sharing with the world isn't necessarily news, but it's almost a way to scare you to death, to where it's same with religion. Yeah. It's just, it's there to almost to scare you to live. Like, and he's drawing these funny versions of that are completely off the wall, but they do have a real connotation. Like,
Yeah. I mean, there's a hypocrisy in that he's pointing out by having that long loop of the news. Like, look at all the violence that is already happening in the world. This is real versus what I'm drawing what I'm filming with my friends with fake blood.
Right.
You know, there's a hypocrisy in the people who are focusing on what we're putting on the news and what we're prioritizing to share with other people, and then him in turn being convicted for having something that they deem offensive that is fake, that's not real. I mean, that really resonated with me. I'm not saying like what I've done is anywhere near what Diana has done, but putting together a book about dead kids in movies
Yes.
is not in good
Yeah,
taste.
if you would have done this in 1989, you would probably be on trial or something. Like somebody would want you. So many people would be after you.
Toby would come to my defense. He would get on the stand and just, meow.
I can see that. He's in a little suit, like
a little tie, and little glasses.
But yeah, this whole it's a subject of it's what's happening at the time. You know, the '89, and you know, there's the whole satanic panic that's going on.
Yeah.
The whole parental advisory explicit content is happening during this time.
Yeah.
You know, the whole when I was a young kid, there was a motto that's Tipper Gore is a whore.
Yep.
And because she had what I had read the stories is she had purchased Prince's Purple Rain, and she listened to the song Darling Nikki, which is obviously an amazing song.
Yes.
But very sexual, about a sex fiend. So she thought, well, my kid can't be listening to this, or other kids listening to this. So they just stuck this parental advisory content sticker all over everything.
The Tipper sticker.
The Tipper sticker.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember very vividly, like some of the albums I had Anthrax, Attack of the Killer Bees. Of course, Two Live Crew is one of the most.
Yep.
I also had an oversized like white t-shirt that had the parental advisory sticker on it. I'd wear it like, hey, check me out.
Oh, you're
like,
so cool, Lance.
Oh yeah. I had my fucking tight rolled stonewashed jeans. I was ready to go.
Oh my God.
I had the hair. That's what I love about Blood Brothers and all these Mike Diana films too, is that is a mirror image of me at that age. Mm-hmm. Well, I was talking to my friend about MTV. I think we were talking about just VJs. Like, he didn't know who Adam Curry was, and I was like explaining to him who Adam Curry was, and Ricky Rackman, and Duff, and Kennedy, and all these personalities. And then he said he didn't know who these people were. And I was like, did you even have MTV growing up? And he was from Longview, Texas. Uh-huh. And he said, no, actually, the city banned MTV from my city, from our county or whatever. And I was like, who did this? And he said it was a church group. And I looked it up, and sure as hell, in 1991, there was a New York Times article, like from Tyler, Texas, where they banned MTV, this religious group, from circulation and from being stations couldn't pick it up in their area.
Fuck.
And I was like, dude, so you don't know who these people are.
Do you want to feel really old for a second?
I mean, yes.
Kurt Loder is 80 years old.
I saw that. That's actually what brought up the entire conversation.
Oh, shit.
He sent that to me, and he's all, I don't think this is real. And I was like, I looked it up. I was like, well, Kurt Loder was old when we were watching.
We were getting our news from Kurt Loder.
Yeah.
So,
you know, like when Cobain killed himself, like, breaking news, the MTV breaking news, and Kurt Loder popped
Tabitha
up.
Soren. She was the other one.
Yeah, Tabitha Soren.
All right, we're dating ourselves. Our young, do we have young listeners?
Well, Adam Curry's like one of the biggest, like, dating, like that dude with the feathered hair. And
yeah.
Yeah, I miss MTV the way it was. Back in my day, they'd play music. It's not Road Rule, Real World Challenge.
Is MTV even?
Yeah, it's still around.
It's still around. Is it all just reality shows now then?
I don't know.
Ask
I
Sarah.
would think. Ask Sarah. She's probably at home watching it right now. If she's watching it, I can answer yes, it is reality shows.
All right. Did Sarah watch Blood Brothers with you?
Oh, no.
Okay. I didn't know.
That's the thing, too, with the hiatus, to get back to our break. I feel like I should have been just charging through and watching a bunch of movies. Mm-hmm. My movie intake is just completely dropped off.
Same.
And I'll get to like my pick, too. It's like affecting, like, that's why I'm really excited about getting back into the podcast, because it helped me watch the movies that I love.
Yeah. My movie watching has definitely dropped off. It's May, and I'm already thinking about, like, God damn, my end of year episode picks are going to be horrendous. Like, I have not watched anything.
It's going to be like Blood Brothers, Baked Baby Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine, but like, I always like to shout out movies that we didn't talk about on the podcast, and so I I am pledging to do better with my movie watching for the rest of the year. It's really just fallen off. It's been hard to motivate, like anybody who suffers from anxiety, you understand, like you have good days, you have bad days. I had a shit morning and then Lance showed up. And so now I feel better. But yeah, I'm happy to get back to doing what we do. And that's talking about these movies that more people need to see. You gave that quick, synopsis or summary that Diana had in his essay or in his Boiled Angels #1. Yeah, it's a couple of kids, blood brothers. I think they actually cut themselves and smear their own blood together.
That's what it looks like. If not, I'm very impressed with that special effect.
Yeah, same.
Have you ever made a blood pact?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
It's
our age. I don't like now. I think it would freak people out.
Oh,
like kids
100%. They're already, they don't even, kids nowadays don't even kiss. They're like, ew, swap spit. Gross. Like they don't.
I mean, I kind of get that now. No, the older I get, I'm like, okay, maybe I am hip. I'm not going to kiss.
You don't like watching people kiss in movies anyway. It's like sloppy kiss.
No, it's like, yeah. Well, actually, what movie was it? The sloppy kissing that I just love. I think it was in Hellhole or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'll watch it if it's just exaggerated and completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But if it's like a Leonardo DiCaprio ugly cry kiss, I'm like, get out of here with that.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, Blood Brothers itself, it's 50 minutes. It's a couple of kids just going around killing other kids. It has another movie that Diana shot called The Shed, just like kind of lumped into it at the end.
Yeah.
Which I love. And so this is my experience when I first watched it. I'm just going to share, like, this is my actual write-up for Sweetest Taboo. This is what's going to be in the book about Blood Brothers. Now, to be fair, like, this could change. So you're getting draft 1 of this. Hang on, I got to scroll down 15 pages because I got a lot of movies in here. Whom the gods wish to destroy. Okay. Blood Brothers, 1989. The letterbox synopsis says it all. In 1986, as a teen, Mike Diana bought a video camera and, using his younger brother and sister as actors, made a gore film inspired by the horror videos he was a fan of. Running a mere 50 minutes, Blood Brothers is the rawest SOV you will ever watch. Script? What's that? Retakes because everyone looked straight into the camera or smiled while they were being dismembered or killed? Pshaw! Editing? Get fucked. In other words, it's perfect. It is unfiltered teenage angst, the kind that could only be captured with a camcorder, some handmade shirts, and fake blood paid for by everyone's pooled allowance. What does it take to get into the Hall of Fame in this book? An honor that wasn't even bestowed upon John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 or Herman Yau's The Untold Story. A movie that decided that killing just one kid and made it into one chapter of this book wasn't good enough. Not even killing 2 in different ways to make it into the final chapter was good enough. It packs in more child deaths and honorable mentions in 50 minutes than anything you've ever seen, and proves that kids are good at 2 things: dying and making SOV movies. Here's just some of the reasons that Mike Diana's Blood Brothers is the first inductee into the Sweetest Taboo Hall of Fame. A baby doll covered in blood with a syringe sticking out of its head. The greatest cocaine line cuts in cinema, maybe even real life. Severed heads and tongues flung about, but not decapitated heads. No, those go straight into the garbage can. Blood oaths with real blood. I think they're actually cutting themselves. Killing your blood brother. Trust no one. Cranking out a score on a Casio. Musical talent not required. In fact, that would be frowned upon. Coat hanger abortion, followed by sneaker stomping the potato-sized parasite, aka fetus. Safety pins being not so safe. They weren't just for punk fashion or holding your clothes together in the 80s. Stigmata, multiple strangulations, baghead Jason Voorhees burned alive. Glue huffing fever dream finale with a kid thrown in a dryer, another with a hammer in her skull, another who has a television dropped on his head and lives only to drop it on another kid's head, and a kid who is lawnmowered to death. Credits on yellow sticky notes, Made in Florida, obviously.
Brilliant. Love it. Usually we go over these episodes, like what are your favorite moments? You've listed
I
them
can't
all.
pick them. There's
No.
not just one. I mean, maybe the kid in the dryer, because I always love a good appliance death.
Well, you got the 24-inch lines of cocaine that's stacked 3 inches high that these kids are doing.
Yes.
You got, there's tons of organ licking going on in this movie, which you have kids, disemboweling other kids and removing what looks to be like 3 hearts from their stomach.
Yes.
And licking. There's so much. Yeah. It's 50 minutes of the best.
Yeah.
Like this is like the best shot on video. Yeah. That was a great write-up. I don't know if there needs to be edits to that. I'll just point that out now.
I mean, I'll read it again in 2 years before we go to print and then, then decide. But yeah, it's just, I say it's the rawest SOV because it's, unfiltered. It's exactly, you feel like you were there. I know it resonates with you because you did this exact thing when you were a kid with your friends, making your own movies with your own camera. Like, these are the kinds of things that I love and like that make me feel nostalgic. Like, I don't sure, I love Friday the 13th movies too, but I don't feel like genuine nostalgia like I do with something like this.
This makes you feel like, because you can see the inspirations. You mentioned Baghead Voorhees, you can, and even the TV that could be pulled from like Elm Street,
right? Yeah,
but yeah, this makes you feel like maybe it's again us aging ourselves, but it makes me feel like I'm there. Like I could have. And I'm not like, this is no shade. Like I could have made something like this as a kid.
Yeah,
and it's just that's what's so appealing about it. But yeah. When we did our CTTV, our Captain Trips Television, and we did our short skits, I've already hinted on a couple episodes how just obviously no budget. It was 4 of us. We were just having a good time. But when I was watching Blood Brothers, and it's more prevalent when watching Bake Baby Jesus, but when they're shooting the outside scenes, you can hear a helicopter go by that's just drowning out the dialogue. You can hear the crickets and the bugs. Like, you hear somebody like a neighbor mowing or somebody saying, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Like you can hear neighbors shouting. It's just picking it up. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is, I don't know. I just feel so, feel very attached to it. And the fact that it's only 50 minutes long, I think that's why I liked Bake Baby Jesus so much, is because it's over 2 hours of this.
Yeah.
And it's maddening. You did point out the score.
Yes.
And that is by Diana's sister. I don't know if it's Tamara or Tamara. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Who's also the abortion victim.
Yes.
But this music is maddening. It's like untuned, busted acoustic guitar strumming every so often. But then it goes into like Riz Ortolani's Cannibal Holocaust sounding stuff with like a boom, boom, boom. And like, it's really effective. Like that's first presented during the coke sniffing. And then it pops up again when Diana decapitates his mother, who, I mean, I don't, it seems like they have a great relationship in all the interviews I've seen, but his parents seem so cool and supportive of his artistic career that it's cool to see his mom pop up and play a victim.
Yeah. My mom, like, she was very excited about the book. And I was like, I don't think she's read the Frankenstein entry yet. I think once she does, she'll be a little bit mortified. But yeah, I mean, it's so cool. Like his mom, like you said, she was the victim who got her head decapitated when she was sticking her head out the window. His sister is in it. His brother, Matt, is one of the brothers in the film. And then there's just this slew of other kids who are friends of his. And you see that in the credits, like a bunch of people with the same last name or, siblings, friends. And so it's just one of those, like, kids from the block getting together and making a movie. And oh my God, I love everything about it. 5 stars.
5 stars. I didn't rate this one on, I should go back and rate it.
Well, it's 5 stars in my book. I don't know what I gave it on Letterboxd, but it doesn't matter. It's a perfect movie.
It is. It's a perfect shot on video movie. Like you can't do DIY SOV any better. Yeah. Like this is it.
Because it's like what I love is that it's not trying to be anything. Like there's no, and I think, when we talked to like Zach, when they were here for the Bleeding Skull book episode, and talking about like having really high ambition, but a really low budget. There's no ambition in this. It's just get together, make a movie, have fun kind of thing. And I think that's equally as good as having a lot of ambition and setting your sights really high, but just, you can see that it's there. Here, you don't have that, but it still works for me on the same level.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's, I can rate this, 5 stars, and I can rate Persona 5 stars, but they're completely different movies.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just on a level that you haven't seen before. It really is. It's 50 minutes of just, again, I don't know if it is because of a nostalgic, like drawing the anarchy signs all over. I did that as a kid everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And also, and I don't know, I did a deep dive in Diana's interviews and a lot of his like commentary stuff, but there's stuff that I would do when we would record. I would purposefully do knowing what can I do as the biggest shock value. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like life ruining, regretful stuff, but you do it because you just want to do it. And, there's stuff, I'd regret, like if I had swastikas painted all over garage doors or shirts that pop up in Diana's stuff. But as a kid, it's all about rebellion. It's all about doing stupid shit. You're learning from your actions.
Yeah.
But I could feel like I just, as I'm watching Blood Brothers and, his other film, I was like, man, that's totally what we did in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And I love it. Yeah. And I'm glad this is out there in the world. And I'm glad we're covering it. I think it's a perfect pick to come back to.
Thank you. All right. Double feature pick?
Yeah. So I obviously immediately thought Baked Baby Jesus.
Sure. I think that works perfectly.
Love it to death.
They're already together.
They are, but I feel like watching Blood Brothers and Baked Baby Jesus, that's 3 hours of...
That's a lot. That's an endurance test.
It could cause violent behavior, turn you into a serial killer.
Yeah.
So I didn't pick that.
Okay.
And I also thought of the Baghead wearing Voorhees, Friday the 13th Part 2, the weapon of choices also that the kids have. You have little mini pitchforks and pickaxes. Henenlotter, since he did the doc, and I know Diana's done a lot of design work for Brain Damage and Basket Case. I think those could be a nice fit to showcase like the inspirations that Diana had as a teenager. But I settled on the John Waters 1970 horror comedy, Multiple Maniacs, starring the beautiful Divine, David Lockery. I mean, all the John Waters, Baltimore Dreamlanders, Mink Stoll, Cookie Mueller, Edith Macy, they're all in there. But it's about a traveling sideshow called the Cavalcade of Perversion, and they're pretending to be this haven for the ultimate collection of freaks, including a man who eats his own puke and other freaks of nature. And they're actually a band of these thieves and kidnappers and murderers. But it has murdering of all sorts with all different types of weapons. It has cannibalism. It has raping. It has glue sniffing. It has a reenactment of the crucifixion of Jesus. Mm-hmm. Everything you'd want from a John Waters and a Mike Diana film. Obviously bigger in budget, well produced. It's still very much, I feel like, an independent DIY filmmaking, and it's early Waters, so you're going to get that, the obscenity is strong with this one. Also, like Blood Brothers, it has a very scattershot approach. And it also closes with complete madness. Like the last 10 minutes of Blood Brothers is my favorite. I think I had read too, like it kind of turns Ogroff. It just starts losing it because it's a compilation of like previously recorded stuff from The Shed. But in Multiple Maniacs, Divine is battling and getting raped by a giant lobster. So it's complete nightmare inducing stuff, but I love it. So I would do Multiple Maniacs and then Blood Brothers.
I like it. It's a great pick.
Or you could do any order.
Yeah.
What's your double feature pick?
So my double feature pick is another entry into the Swedish Taboo Hall of Fame. This is another director who also agreed to be interviewed for the book. And a movie that I love. It's another SOV film from the 80s, another perfect film. And that is Tim Ritter's Truth or Dare, A Critical Madness from 1986.
That's perfect.
Yeah. He has gotten back to me with his interview question answers, and we did it via email, and he gave very long answers. So his section's going to be
4 pages.
Yeah.
Worth
It's
it.
great.
Like totally.
Yeah. I'm very excited for it. And you know I've always loved his movies, that movie Killing Spree. I even Sharks of the Corn, like I'll give it to him, but when I was reading his answers, he's pulling, like, I didn't have, you pulling out Bergman on my bingo card for this episode, but you did. And, he's pulling out influences like that. And he's talking about, but other things and other people who are working in the same space as him right now. And you can just, you can really feel his genuine love, not just for, the movies that he's making now, but he's so appreciative of people who love his movies that when he first made them, like Truth or Dare and Killing Spree. So Tim Ritter's Truth or Dare and Critical Madness, another perfect movie for me, another perfect SOV movie. I think I don't care what order it goes in; they're both great.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a fun night.
Yeah. All right. Next movie, next pick.
Okay, next pick. I feel like this is kind of a cop out, kind of a cheap pick because I actually had this one for Giallo January, so I already had some notes put together, and we're easing our way into this. So
that's fair.
I'm going to pick it.
I picked a 50-minute movie to ease in, so that's fine. And honestly, I was really looking forward to that movie and talking about it. So all good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this was. It's. I thought I could save it for next January, but I thought it's a Spanish Giallo, so they try to be Giallo.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to pick it because, it's so goofy. I haven't stopped thinking about it and I want to talk about it. Okay. It's called Sexy Cat from 1973, directed by Julio Perez Tabanero. And I felt like it's kind of a nice segue from this Mike Deanna Blood Brothers episode because it somewhat leans into how dangerous comic books can be. It's about a comic book series about a character called Sexy Cat, which is being made into a big feature film. And all of the people involved in the production, including the crew and even the original comic book artists and creators, are being killed off by a mysterious killer, which just might be the real Sexy Cat. This is a pretty standard Lance Schibi pick. Okay, it's very campy. It has unnecessary humor that is... Oh, God. It's certainly going to turn people off. It's not like Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh. It's
you should know better by now.
No, so. This one kind of reminds me of Blood Song, that episode we covered with Frankie Avalon and Donna Wilkes. It's a silly horror. It doesn't fully fit into the horror genre, but Letterboxd has it listed, so it counts. I think it gets a bit talky. It has the classic police procedural stuff. But it's going to be fun to dive into because of the cast and the comic book aspect of things.
This has an amazing poster.
It does.
That's amazing.
Like I want that poster.
Yeah. And it's under 90 minutes. Thank you.
Yes. Obviously we're not going to find another pick that's 50 minutes or less probably. Sure. You never know. But this is only 80 minutes long. It has only 213 views on Letterboxd. I watched this close to 6 or 7 months ago, and only a dozen people have logged it since then.
Okay.
So as we do, I want more eyes on this goofy bastard. It's streaming on YouTube. There's a few versions, Spanish with, I think, subtitles and one in an English dub. I actually had fun with the English dub. It's not that bad.
Okay.
But
both the same length, though, right?
Both exactly the same length. Right. I think it's like 120 in a couple seconds.
Okay.
So it's good. It should be fun.
All right. Looking forward to it. What do I do here?
Our ending?
Our
tags?
Jesus Christ, it's been a minute. All right. If you're not already, you can follow us on... Where are we?
Instagram?
I think that's it.
Are you still on Facebook? Are we Facebook?
Oh, yeah. The Facebook thing is there.
We're gone off Twitter.
Not on Twitter, or at whatever the fuck people are calling it now. Not on TikTok. Did any of them do TikTok?
TikTok? Did we ever have TikTok?
No. I'm trying to think because I had TikTok for a minute because of the job interview and that brain rot. No more.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can listen to our episodes wherever you're listening to it now somewhere.
At Unsung Horrors.
Unsung Horrors. God, yeah. Hello. Where am I? I'm on Instagram, and I think that's it. And Letterboxd. Jesus, at Hex Massacre.
Yeah, I'm on Letterboxd and Instagram at Schibi. Also, if anybody uses Spotify, I created a playlist of every Unsung Horrors song that we've closed out episodes with.
That's right. You put that in the Discord.
If anyone's interested in like this very eclectic playlist of tunes, it was fun putting it together. I mean, I'm making the move to Apple Music, but I haven't because of the playlist stuff that I have. But
we'll link that in show notes.
Yeah, it's fun. I listen to it. I listen to it like on the plane when I've been taking flights. And I'm like, and it's cool because they're all tied. There's reasons we pick all our songs. Sure. So I just think of the episode, the recording, the notes, and all the back end, like preparing for that episode. It just brings back a lot of nostalgia. Some of the songs I have to skip though because they're just bad. Mostly mine. I love chocolate cake. There's a tractor, so you should probably start picking all these songs.
No, I haven't even picked the one for Blood Brothers yet.
I love chocolate cake. We love chocolate cake. Chocolate cake. So.
Okay. I'm glad you got this singing in for this episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you back soon for Sexy Cat.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
If you're taking a walk through the garden of life, what do you think you'd expect you would see? Just like a mirror reflecting the moves of your life, and in the river reflections of me. Just for a second, a glimpse of my father I see, and in a move when he beckons to me, and in a moment the memories are all that remain, and all the wounds are reopening again. We're blood brothers. We're blood brothers. We're blood brothers. We're make everything right. Keep on making the same old mistakes. Makes untipping the balance so easy. When we're living our lives on the edge, say a prayer on the book of the dead.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.